Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening from wherever you may be in the world. And welcome to Karting de Fun in Marienborg, where we are for round number 2 of the BNL karting series. My name is Daan Pepels, and I'll be bringing you all the action for today together with the guys over at WFR. It's not the usual Alex Goldschmidt that you see on this broadcast. It's me for this weekend at Marienborg. As we said back in Genk for round number 1, it'll be me for this round. And for the rest of the rounds for BNL, you'll be back with Alex Goldschmidt. But for today, let's take a look at the track we have in front of us. Here it is, Karting de Fun, located in Marienborg. What a track this is. The 1.3 kilometer track provides us with all the action here this weekend. We have 104 competitors in total taking on this fish track at Karting de Fun International Raceway. 14 turns in total on this track, located in the middle of Marienborg. And as always, we'll have our 4 classes. We'll have Mini Rookie, Max Juniors, we'll have Max Seniors, and we'll have DD2 and DD2 Masters. Here it is then, the track. Of course, a clockwise circuit at Marienborg. And the track distance, like I said, 1.3 kilometers in length, just over. And a total of 14 corners here today. Of course, here for BNL 2, round number 2 in the BNL karting series. Now, of course, turn 1 provides us with plenty of overtaking opportunity after the long straight, or well, straight-ish, because we're flat from turn 12 all the way to turn 1. We're getting ready for the first session of the day, our qualifying heats. And first up are Mini Max and Mini Max Rookie. All heats today, or at least all qualifying heats, will be 7 minutes plus 1 lap. And then we'll have the pre-finals, which are 10 minutes plus 1 lap for all classes. And after the break, we'll go to a 30-minute short break. After that, we'll have all the finals. And we'll do that all over again tomorrow. Here we are looking at number 68. That's Kian Hai from Denmark. If you look at Kian Hai's performance over at Genk, he took a total of 67 points, and with that leads the Mini Rookie Championship. Leading the Mini Championship are 2 drivers, Osterman and Riley Morrow, both from racing from Great Britain. Looking at the number 106 here. Little Kousmaker. What can he do? Just got the official starting grid for this heat. And it will be Malte Holm who will be starting at the back of the field. Looking at the front though, it's Austin Oman and Riley Morrow who'll be taking the start from the front of the field. This is the number 120. That was Malte Holm at the back of the field for today. We'll be looking to improve up the field. We have 23 total drivers in these classes. Like I said, Mini and Mini Rookie up first for the qualifying heats. All drivers ready in the pre-grid. I do know that Malte Holm, the number 120 who we just looked at, a driver from Denmark, was underweight. Weight wasn't correct after qualifying. So therefore he's been put to the back of the grid. And we're going to see what he can do from the back. Here we see Theo in the blue BNL jacket. He'll send the drivers out as soon as it's time. Simply lovely, it says on the back of the helmet for Walker. And that is Jensen Walker. He's starting on the 6th row of the grid in P12. What can he do today? Of course, all of these qualifying heats, so all of these will set you up quite nicely for the pre-finals later on today. Pre-final for Mini Max and Mini Rookie at 13:15 local time as the drivers leave the pre-grid. Let's have a look then at the starting grid for this qualifying heat. It's Austin Oman and Riley Morrow starting on the front row of the grid. Dan Max Jolly in third, ahead of Harry Ratcliffe on the second row of the grid in P4. Then Tom Reed and Mick Klinkers on the third row of the grid, P5 and 6 respectively. Jonathan Otterson in 7th, then Mikkel Gottschalk in 8th, 9th for Leo Livings, and Tristan Abels in P10. Conrad Doyle in P11. Jensen Walker starts from the 6th row of the grid in P12. Then it's Ryan Rampadaret in P13. Dejan Habets in P14. P15 for Matthias Verreken and Arlo Gamble on P16 on the grid. Leon Herbots in 17th. Trent van Melek in P18. Kian Hai in P19. Philip Massart in P20. P21 for Milo de Kousmaker. And P22 for Benedict Masiakos. And like I said, last but not least is Malte Holm. Let's see what he can do from the back of the grid after that penalty for being underweight in qualifying. Drivers are frantically trying to warm up their tires as we get ready for the start of this race. Like I said, this race 7 minutes plus 1 laps for all the qualifying heats. As the drivers line up side by side. Round off the last sector. Round off the 11th of 12 turns that we have here. And as we come through turn 12, the revs will begin to rise. The drivers will be looking at the gantry, where the red lights are on. It's Oman from the front row of the grid, together with Riley Morrow. We get ready for the start of this race, and it's green, green, green. It's a good start from our pole sitter 2. Keeps his lead going into turn 1. As further back in the field, everyone getting through cleanly as well. We do see a bit of jockeying for position further back in the midfield. Everyone now trying to settle into position. Have a look at the fight from Leo Livings at the inside. And 33 of Ryan Rampadaret. Behind him now. As all of the drivers round off the first lap of this qualifying heat for the first time. And it's Austin Oman and Riley Morrow still P1 and 2. Staying the exact same way as they were on the starting grid. No one breaking away so far. It's the top 5 that's getting away from the chasing pack a little. But even that is only a gap of 0.6 of a second. And it's Jonathan Ottesen, the Danish driver, chasing down that leading pack. As I think, yes indeed, Riley Morrow has taken the lead from Austin Oman. A change for the lead at the front of the field. It's now Riley Morrow leading the way ahead of Austin Oman. Still Max Jolly in P3. Harry Ratcliffe also up to 4th now. And Mick Klinker's also up to 6th. Leo Livings up to 7th. As that is Harry Ratcliffe looking for a move up the inside of Max Jolly. Makes it stick. 122 still at the front of the field in front of Austin Oman in the 121. But driving a very defensive line going into turn 6. He's forced to by Austin Oman. As it's now the 113 of Harry Ratcliffe chasing down Max Jolly. It's the final spot in the top 3. Oh, up the inside of turn 1. That's an audacious move, but Max Jolly retakes P3. Those two jostling for position behind is allowing the top 2, Riley Morrow and Austin Oman, to break away a little. Those two very much staying single file, helping each other through the heat so far. They can fight in the last lap of the race. They can fight out who's going to finish first here. Like I said, all of this is just setting you up for the pre-final later on today. We see Harry Ratcliffe now in P4. Behind that, it's the 110 of Tom Reed. Behind them, it's Mick Klinkers in the 105. Still the top 2, nose to tail. Nothing between them. Riley Morrow is trying to open up that gap a little towards Austin Oman. Austin Oman, who the last lap of the race put in the fastest lap of the race, 59.269. However, that's only 21 thousandths of a second quicker than Riley Morrow at the head of the field. Let's look at this. 110 of Tom Reed has closed up now to Harry Ratcliffe in the 113. Those two now fighting for what is 4th in this race. Here's the 116 of Max Jolly chasing down that lead pack. And let me tell you what, he's closing down that gap. Last lap for Max Jolly, 59 flat, 4/10 quicker than both of the drivers in front of him did. So Max Jolly closing up that gap. Like I said, fastest lap of the race for Max, 59.057. A little bit further back in the field, you can see out of my commentary window, dust being kicked up coming out of turn 4. Drivers exploring the track limits. So Max Jolly is now properly closed up to this lead battle. Depending on how quick we are here, we might get 3 more laps. It's going to be close. No, I don't think so. We're going to get 2 more laps here. Second to last tour of the Karting de Fun International Raceway this time round. Max Jolly still desperately trying to close that gap down to Austin Oman, who's still, virtually if he could, pushing Riley Morrow through turn 6. There's been nothing between these two drivers at the front, and now it's Max Jolly mixing himself in between the two as well. He's now properly caught up. He's going to go for a move. He isn't. He's biting his time going into turn 11. Better exit onto the somewhat straight here, turn 12 left, but it's all flat for these drivers. Onto the front stretch now is Max Jolly. Gonna go for a move into turn 1. No, he isn't, but Austin Oman is. He takes the lead away from Riley Morrow on the last lap of this race. Riley Morrow comes back at him going into turn 2. This allows Max Jolly up the inside. There's contact between him and Austin Oman. Max Jolly goes from P3 to P1 in 1 lap. And he's done it on the final lap of the race. It's crucial for him now to try and break away 116. Max Jolly gets up into the lead on the last tour of this racetrack. And the two who've been fighting it out this whole race have to settle, it looks like, for only P2 and P3. It's not over yet though. Austin Oman still trying to fend off Riley Morrow. But Max Jolly is going to come through and take this win. Max Jolly takes the win in the qualifying heat. He will start from pole position in the pre-final. Does that from 3rd on the grid. And it looked like for a while after that start Max Jolly wasn't going to have the race he was hoping for, but final lap is out only now. Excuse me, I thought the race was already over. Max Jolly still has to defend from Riley Morrow and Austin Oman behind him. It's not over yet. It's not the first time that's happened, is it? As the 110 of Tom Reed is also now closed up. He's overtaken Harry Radcliffe on the last tour. It's Austin Oman who also now has to look behind Max Jolly. Defensive going into turn 11. What's that going to do with his run onto the straight? Max Jolly from 3rd on the grid comes through to win the pre-final. They're going to make it a drag race to the race. Pull into the left-hand side. It's 3 wide across the line. Max Jolly does keep his first position, but it's 3 drivers. You could throw a blanket over them. 35 thousandths of a second in the end. Austin Oman behind Riley Morrow, who finishes in 2nd, who was 15 thousandths only behind Max Jolly. These mini rookies showing us what this track can do if it's close racing around here. Max Jolly wins ahead of Riley Morrow in 2nd and Austin Oman from pole to 3rd. Half a tenth only. That separates the top 3 in this race. Tom Reed on the final lap of the race. Also overtaking for P4. Mick Klinkers in P5 then. And 6 for Leo Living. 7th for Jonathan Otterson. Tristan Abiels coming through in 8th. Conrad Doyle in 9th. Biggest gainer in this race though in P11 is Tren van Melick. A couple of drivers have lost out big. Harry Radcliffe drops from on the last lap, which looked like P5, drops all the way down to P14. Lost 10 positions in that race. Running off the top 10 though is Ryan Rampadarath. And what a race we saw. Max Jolly from 3rd on the grid, taking a spectacular win in a 3-wide dragways across the start-finish line. Riley Morrow coming out in 2nd in that drag race. And Austin Oman in 3rd. I thought for a moment that Max Jolly had it already coming out of turn 12. This is that decisive move. Look at that. The 113. of Harry Ratcliffe up the inside. Ended up finishing P14. There's no warning either for the 113 of Harry Ratcliffe, so I wonder what's exactly happened there. And that decisive move of Austin Ormond to decide to go for the inside. And Max Jolly pushing the 122 of Riley Morrow all the way to the outside and then going all the way defensive for turn 6-2. Amazing racing from those three at the front of the field. This is what BNL is all about. This is what Max Jolly can do. Look at that, holding the flag up already. What are you thinking when you see this coming towards you? 3 wide across the finish line. But Max Jolly doing just about enough, 15 thousandths of a second, the gap across start finish. Like I said, these mini rookies showing us what they're made of. Showing us what they can do. Alright, that was it for the mini rookies. On to DD2 and DD2 Masters. I've just gotten worried that this track speaker here was quite loud, so I'm sorry for all the eardrums I've blown out for everyone on the grandstands that was watching along with that photo finish. Excitement does rise a lot when you see a 3-wide battle across the line. Waiting now then on the pre-grid are DD2 and DD2 Masters. A total of 16 competitors. As these drivers will soon get the green flag to leave the pre-grid. There they go. And when they do so, we will have a look at the starting grid for this race. It's Sam Knopius taking pole position in the 5-minute qualifying session we had earlier on today, ahead of Antoine Barbaro in second. Also on the front row of the grid. And William Norbach in third, ahead of Christophe Capitaine in fourth. Then fifth for Lawrence Herbots, sixth for Wout Kirstjens, and seventh for Frederick Zibis, the Dane on the fourth row of the grid. Then Gustav Usakovs in P8. Jeremy Brasler in ninth, ahead of Mattis Ankenis in P10. Marco Drittenpreis in P11. Axel Goes in P12. P13 for Nicolas Guillaume. And P14 for Michael Becker. Kian de Brandt in P15 and P16 for Lisanne Kielstra. I do already excuse myself for all the names I'm butchering in the commentary booth. I'm trying my best to pronounce all of these as best as I can. Right. Rounding off the second to last corner. Before we will line up and go green for DD2 and DD2 Masters. Into the tram lines we go. As soon as the lights go out, we're underway and racing, and that is now. Lights have gone out, we're underway and racing. Sam Knopius on the left-hand side, slotting into first. Antoine Barbaro in second. You look to go for the move in turn 2. Can't quite. And he'll slot in back to second. Important for everyone to get through this cleanly. Looks like everyone has done so. And everyone's gotten through cleanly on the first couple of corners. Still people jockeying for position, trying to find their spot in the field. As we're now single file throughout. Drivers settling into the pace of the race. As I said, also this session, just like it was for Minimax and Minimax Rookie, it is 7 minutes plus 1 lap. First lap of the track has been completed by all these drivers. No casualties at the start. All drivers still driving. However, I do see that Lisanne Kielstra is, I have a feeling, struck somewhere in sector 2. Never posted a third sector time. So the rest of the drivers are coming through to complete lap number 2 already. And it's still Seb Knopius at the front. In the 420, then the 402 of Antoine Barbaro. William Norbach in third now. But the top 2 seems like already breaking away a little. Sam Knopius obviously driving for DRT Dams Racing Team. A little bit further back in the field for 98 of Lawrence Herbots. He's gotten up to 4th already. Is that 1 position? Up 2 is Axel Goes in 10th. That's the biggest gainer. Everyone kind of staying where they qualified, it seems like, in this race. Top 2 still opening up that gap to William Norbach in 3rd. Fastest lap of the race now by Antoine Barbaro. 54.444. Minutes to go still in this race. Still the top 2 breaking away from Willem Herbo in 3rd. It's Lawrence Herbots on the back of William. But the top 2 stay in as they are. But once again, best lap of the race for Antoine Barbaro. Here is the top 2. Gap to William Norbach, last lap, 0.7 of a second from Antoine Barbaro. And William looking to close that up now. But it also does look like Anton Barbaro can't quite attack Sam Knopius at the front. Fastest lap of the race, 54.3 for Sam Knopius last time round. And that was a full tenth almost faster than the 402 behind him. As through they come again. To finish their 7th lap of the race. Our gap has opened up to 0.2 of a second, matching the lap time of Sam Knopius last time round was Antoine Barbaro. Almost literally, lap time for Sam Knopius 54.332 or 432. Antoine Barbaro 54.433. Only 1,000 of a second slower than our leader of the race. But William Norbach struggling to close that gap. Gap has opened up further to Anton Barbaro, 0.9 of a second now. Sam Knopius shows what he can do. Opens up that gap a further 10. Gap now up to 0.3 of a second. Next lap of the race will be last lap of the race, I feel. But we'll see, got that wrong last time too. Biggest movers in the field are sadly Mathis Ankans in P13, lost 3 positions together with Christophe Capitaine. In P7 also lost 3. Biggest gainers, Axel Goets in P10, up to final lap of the race has started, and to be quite frank, Sam Knopius has been dominant in this one. Not dominant to the point where he drove away seconds from the field, but dominant to the point where, well, there's really no one who was able to challenge him. Nobody really has threatened him except from Anton Barbaro at the start of this race. Gap has gone up to almost 0.5 of a second. There's a battle behind that though. That was close between Wout Kirstjens and Laurens Herbots. That's the battle for 4th and 5th. But it's a dominant display from Sam Knopius as he comes round the 12th and final corner of this racetrack to round off what is a dominant victory for him in the qualifying. He'll start the pre-final from the pole. A little bit further back across the start-finish line, Wout Kirstjens and Laurens Herbots. It's a photo finish. Once again, 0.5 in it. Wout Kirstjens overtaking Laurens Herbots on the last lap of the race to finish 4th and gain 2 positions. Sam Knopius with the fastest lap of the race, from pole to fastest lap to the race victory. It's a perfect day so far for Sam Knopius. Back into pit lane we go. Let's have a look then at the finishing order. It's Sam Knopius who wins ahead of Antoine Barbaro in 2nd, William Norbach in 3rd, Wout Kirstjens in P4, Laurens Herbots in 5th, Then Frederick Zebis in P6. Christoph Kaptein in P7. And there goes my finishing order. Well, we got through the top 7 at least. I'm sure I'll be able to update you guys a little later on once the official result is handed to me. Well, that was it for the DD2 and DD2 Masters for the lunch break. Next up is Junior Max. Qualifying heat here at Karting Define. Stay with us. Alright, leaving the pre-grid is the Max Juniors. And let's have a quick look at the starting grid, because it's a big one. 31 total competitors in the field. And it was Jacob Ashcroft, of course. Who else who took pole position in the Max Juniors? Vince van der Halen in P2, ahead of Harry Freeman in third. Mason Bering in P4. Ryan Gunder in P5. Then Shun Sekiguchi in P6, Boas Maximov in P7, Noah Barham in P8, P9 for Thomas Verheijen, then Lieke van Boekel in P11, Isaac Barker in P12, Las Lumbers in P13, Lionel Minguia in P14, 15 for Mate Kobahice, and Eric Brandsborg in 16th, ahead of Sebastian Loisch in 17th. Storm van Rossum in P18. Then Max Sadurski in 19th. Frederick Flood Engebretts in P20. 21st for Ethan Griffiths. 22nd, Archie Lovat. Already come up to the start of this race. Too much to get through this starting grid. It's green, green, green for the Max Juniors. Going into the first corners, Jacob Ashcroft in P1, then Vince van der Halen in P2. They'll be looking to take that place away from him immediately. And the two at the front already breaking away a little. Jacob Ashcroft coming through in P1. Then it's Harry Freeman who's gotten up to P2. And Mason Bering, the Danish driver, from P4, dropping all the way down the order as we've had a kart off the track. Ay, ay, ay. Seems to be limping a little. That's coming out of turn 2. As the rest of the field comes through to complete lap 1. Jacob Ashcroft in third, Harry Freeman in second, Boas Maximov in fourth, Vince van der Halen started P2 down in fourth, and Noah Barham in 22nd. Drivers who haven't come through, give you a note of that soon. It's Frederick Flangelberts, the Danish driver, or the Norwegian driver, excuse me, who's off in turn 2. Seems to be limping home. Hope he's okay. Still though, the 2:44 trying to make his way past of Mate Kobahitse. Lieke van Boekel gets past. Now up next is the 2:09. Little Magway for Lieke van Boekel. There's contact, lots of contact, and lots of drivers finding their way past because of it. Ryan Gondor and Noah Barham losing loads of positions. Down 12 is Noah, down in 20th now, started 8th. But Jacob Ashcroft gap up to a 10th and a half at the front of the field between him and Harry Freeman. Through turn 6 comes the lead pack. These lead 4 half broken away. 2.4 seconds is the gap between Vince van der Halen and Max Sadurski. Jacob Ashcroft, though, is not getting this one for free. Harry Freeman says, I want a piece of it. Bos Maximov and Vince van der Halen also biting their time behind. As to the inside goes Jacob Ashcroft, goes very defensive on Harry Freeman. With that, manages to keep his position up the inside of turn 2, says Harry Freeman, I'm going to get you there then. And that is Jacob Ashcroft with contact with Harry Freeman down to P4, says to Bos Maximov, I ain't having that, back up to P3 he goes. And it's now Vince van der Halen in P1, and Jacob Ashcroft, I think, has dropped down. Yeah, it's Vince van der Halen in P1, then P2 for Harry Freeman, and Jacob Ashcroft in 3rd. So all of a sudden, it's completely switched around at the front of the field. Fighting between Jacob Ashcroft and Harry Freeman has allowed Vince van der Halen to go through. Fastest lap of the race last time round by Mate Kobahitse, who's up 10 in this race already. He's up to 5th. Has come all the way from P15's, closing up the gap now to that lead 4. What an impressive race this has been. Archie Lovett from Great Britain also up 16. He's into 6th now. Lots of movers. Lots of big movers in this field. And those 2 now trying to close up to the lead 4. They've got about 2.5 minutes still to do so, plus 1 lap obviously. As defensive to the inside goes Harry Freeman on Vince van der Halen. Both of them now having to go defensive, because Jacob Ashcroft wants a piece of that lead battle. Of course, lost that lead to Harry Freeman. See if he gets back up to him, how that's going to shake out. There's nothing in between them. As you can see, quickest lap of the race by Ryan Gondor last time round in P20. It has lost 23 positions though, so won't gain much from it. As Mate Kobahitse has now closed up to the lead battle. He's well and truly in this. As through to complete another lap comes Harry Freeman in the lead. Vince van der Halen in 2nd. And Jacob Ashcroft in 3rd. As there is a bit of a gap now for Harry Freeman, because the drivers behind him have started jockeying for position a little. I'm getting up for this one. I was sitting down in the commentary booth. But this is too exciting not to get up. Still the top 4 nose to tail. As through turn 11 they come now. Turn 12 to go. To start what will be the second to last lap of this race. 2 to go across the line. for Harry Freeman. Jacob Ashcroft has gotten back up into second. Vince van der Halen now back into third. Boss Maximov in fourth. Mate Kobahice still in fifth. Did close down that gap quite impressively, but has been struggling to find his way past. And as we often say, catching up is one thing, overtaking is a complete different story. But now the battle between Harry Freeman and Jacob Ashcroft continues at the front of the field. This time, roles reversed. Harry Freeman will go into turn 1 first if he can keep this lead for another half a lap. So we look a little further back to the battle between Lars Lambers and Lieke van Boekel, who's also up 2. Lars Lambers up 5. Archie Lovett ahead of that, up 15. And Max Sadurski also up 13. Big movers in this field, like I said. To the inside, though, defensive goes Harry Freeman. That'll compromise his line coming out of 2. What will Jacob Ashcroft do? Will he go for the inside of turn 2? Can't. That's defended by Harry Freeman. It's going to be the outside the line of choice for Jacob Ashcroft. Has to defend as well from Vince van der Halen, who thinks there's something to get here too. And he's right to think so. Up into P2 goes Vince van der Halen. Boss Maximov now on the back of Jacob Ashcroft. It's allowed Harry Freeman to get a little bit of a gap, though. Jacob Ashcroft, together with Vince van der Halen, closed up that gap. Question is, when's he going to go for a move? Best overtaking opportunity here will, I think, be turn 11. Or will it be a drag race to the line like we saw in Mini Rookie? It is Harry Freeman to round off the 12th and final corner in P1. But can he keep it to the line? Here comes the run. Goes to the inside. It's a photo finish, but it's Harry Freeman who takes the victory in the qualifying heat. He'll start in pole for the pre-final. And Vince van der Halen stays second like he started on the grid. Jacob Ashcroft will be disappointed to finish what will be only third for him after starting from the pole, though. Still, a second row of the grid for Jacob Ashcroft. And it's Boss Maximov in P4. Mate Kobahice up 10 in 5th. Up 13 is Max Sadurski in 6th. Lars Lambers up 6 in 7th. Lieke van Boekel up 3 in 8th. And Thomas Verheijen, then the first one to keep his position in 9th. Isaac Barker in 10th out of Brand van der Wecken in P11. Up 16 is Brand. Ethan Griffiths in P12, Mason Beering in 13th, down 9, Lewis Radcliffe down 4 in 14th, Noah Barham in P15, Brandsborg in 16th, Jente Monen in 17th, Lionel Munguai in P18, Liam Haug in P19, and Storm van Rossum in P20. Devin Mieter 21st, Koen Willems 22nd, Ryan Gandour 23rd, Shun Sekiguchi in P24, down 18, both of those drivers. Justin Funk in P25, Ludwig Hansen 26th, Alex Goodson in 27th, Sebastian Lois 28th, Samir Paul in 29th. The drivers not crossing the start finish line or not finishing this race is Archie Lovett and Frederick Flood Engelbert. Frederick, of course, out on lap 1. Let's hope he's okay. He was limping back to the Marshall post at that point in time. So Paul is well. Well, that was Max Juniors, won by Harry Freeman ahead of Vince van der Halen and Jacob Ashcroft in P3. Next up here at Karting de Fun is Senior Max at 11:50 local time. Coming up next now. Stay with us. as all of the senior max drivers wait to get the green flag and the signal from Theo that the pre-grid exit is open. They can start to make their way onto the circuit. All of them patiently waiting. And while they're doing that, let's give you an update on the championship standings. It's Tom Longlois in P1. In the standings. Tom Longlois, who's only managed to take P5 on the grid, as there's the green flag for the opening of the pre-grid. And while they are trying to warm up the tires, let's try and get through the whole starting grid now, shall we? It's Cameron Nelson who has taken the pole in qualifying earlier on today. Tino Sidler in second, ahead of Devian Roest in P3. Charlie Smith in fourth, ahead of Tom Longlois in fifth. Lewis Goff in sixth, ahead of Matthijs Terlouw in P7. Bastien Mesnil in P8, ahead of Ollie Wise in P9. Then Macaulay Bishop in P10. What can he do from the fifth row of the grid? Knut Nielsen in P11. Christopher Holst in P12. P13 for Matej Radenkovic. P14 then for Jort van Wijk. Sebastian Koch in P15 and Ties van Wijk in P16. P17 for Cas Boshuis. P18 for Oliver Jonkers. P19 for Adam Wooden. P20 for Sverre Uben. 21st Lloyd Haar. William Pemble in P22. Sachem 23rd. Tino Potier P24. 25th for Arno Saborin. And Frederick Jules Sørensen in P26. Magnus Brandt in P27. And P28 for Ryan Bourguignon, the Frenchman, in 28. And Lado Kukinidze, I tried my best there, in P29. And Bo Alrichs in P30. And last on the grid in P31 is Rijn van Meer. Let's give that another go, shall we? The Georgian driver. Lado Kukyanidze. That sounded much better, didn't it? Alright, let's get ready then to get the final qualifying heat underway. We go through turn 11, making our way through turn 12 with the front of the field already. Lining up into the tram lines. Let's get this right the first time, lads, shall we? The final qualifying today before the lunch break. Who goes into the lunch break knowing they've got pole for the pre-final? It's green, and Cameron Nielsen and Tino Sidler starting from the front row of the grid. The two of them keeping it as they are. Tino Sidler trying to look up the inside of Cameron Nelson into turn 2. Doesn't quite make his way through. The two stay as they are. The 355 of Tom Longlois, starting from 5th, has already made his way up into P3. What a start it's been for him. Knows exactly where to put his cards to try and make up those places in the opening phases of the race. And it's the 356 from Ollie Wise. Is Ollie Wise in P... No way Ollie Wise is in P4 already. Ollie Wise started, if I'm correct... Yeah, Ollie Wise started P9, and he's up into P4 already. 5 positions gained on this first lap only. That's an impressive first lap. I thought that Tom Longlois' first lap was already impressive, but Ollie Wise proves that gaining 5 positions isn't that difficult apparently on lap 1. Well, he made it look easy at least. I can assure you that it for sure isn't. Trying to put your car in the correct place to not lose any positions, to try and attack without losing positions is definitely a skill that only the best have. As through we come to complete lap number 2. Cameron Nielsen still in first ahead of Tino Sidler. A lot of drivers actually dropping down the order. What's happened there exactly? Oh, Knut Nielsen and Smith Charlie down 19 and 27 places respectively. At the back of the field in 30th and 31st. As we focus once again on the front of this field. Cameron Nielsen and Tino Sidler going at it. Cameron driving very defensive lines. So it's not allowing him to get away from the drivers behind them either. Keeps everyone nice and close. Up the inside goes Tino Sidler. Tino says if there isn't room, I'll make some. Now he has to defend going into turn 11 from Tom Langlois, who could well be looking to go up into P1, and he has done so. Still side by side though with Tino Sidler. Going to be a drag race down to turn 1. The inside though for Tom Langlois, and with that he takes the lead from Tino Sidler. Ollie Wise also up 7 now. He's up into P2 in the 3.56. Quickest lap of the race last time round by Mateja Radenkovic. But Tom Langlois in the lead of this race now. Oh, who's that? Who do we see off there? That's the 342, I think. Oh, that must be Matthijs Terlouw. Matthijs Terlouw, who was 7th going into this lap, started 7th, stayed 7th, did well to keep his position. But I think he might have well dropped down. Yes, he has. It was indeed Matthijs Terlouw, who we saw facing the wrong direction on the entrance to turn 6, exit of turn 5. And he's dropped down to Matthijs Terlouw. Yeah, P29. He's in the pits, I think. Something clearly wrong with that cart now. After the contact, more contact at the front. That was Tino Sintra and Sebastian Mesnil who made contact there. Still though, Ollie Wise on the back of Tom Langlois, the drivers who've made up the most positions in the top 10. Ollie Wise up 7. Could he complete all of this with a victory in the qualifying heat? As Lewis Goff drops down from what was a good P5 all the way down to P9. Davian Roest also down 2 together with Nelson Cameron, who's down 3, but still 4th and 5th respectively. Those drivers just keep it in the battle. As the top 2 is now slightly breaking away. Oh, there's contact between the 361 and Davian Roest at 393. Davian Roest forcing his way literally past Bastian Mesnil. And Davian Roest now, because of that move, back up into 5th where he was before. Fastest lap of the race held by Matej Radenkovic, up 6 now. Last time we spoke about him, he was down in 13th, he's up into 7th now. 55 flat for Matej Radenkovic. As we look at the battle, further down the order. Top 2 has broken away a little now. They've created themselves a nice little gap now, Tom Longlois and Ollie Wise. So those two will fight it out for P1 and 2, it looks like. And look at Tom Longlois sending it through turn 7 and 8. As for the second to last time, we go through turn 11. Boy, oh boy, there's been action in this race. It's been a really action-packed one. I can't believe we're on the final lap of the race already. As we look at the 3:55 of Tom Longlois. After he got into the lead, he really never looked back. And that, ladies and gentlemen, that is why he is our championship leader going into this race, into this qualifying heat. This is what Tom Longlois does. Gets into the lead and really never looks back. Well, he was kept honest by Ollie Wise. It's going to be a drag race to the line. Exit important out of 11. Through 12, it's all flat across the line. Tom Longlois will keep it ahead of Ollie Wise. Cameron Nelson in 3rd, ahead of Tino Sidler in 4th. Davian Roost in P5. Matej Radenkovic finishes 6th, up 7 places. Same goes for Ollie Wise. What a race that's been from him. Macaulay Bishop in 7th, only up 3 from P10. Great race by him too. Ties van Wijk in P8, also up 8. Sebastian Koch in P9, up 6. Sverre Uben in P10, up 10 as well. Oliver Jonkers in 11th, Adam Lewis Goff in 12th. Lloyd Hare in P13, Sasha Aim in 14, Christopher Holst in 15. And Cas Boshuis in P16. And it's our Georgian driver, Laro Kukyanidze in P17. Arnaud Saborin in 18. Tino Potier in 19. William Pemble in P20. Ryan Borguinon in P21. Magnus Brand 22nd. Knut Nielsen 23rd. Jort van Wijk 24th. Fredrik Sørensen in 25th. Bo Alriks 26th. 27th for Bo van Mee. 28th for Matthijs de Lauw. And 29th for Bastien Mesnil. Drivers not finishing this race, sadly, is Adam Wooden and Smith the Charlie. Well, what a qualifying heat we saw there. Not all the drama. It's setting us up so nicely for the pre-finals and finals later on in the day. There was some contact there between the 304 of Cameron Nielsen and the 314 of Tino Sindler. At the time, that was the battle for the lead. That allowed, though, Tom Longlois and Ollie Wise to go through. And the 355 never really looked back. It was only Ollie Wise who was on the back of him for quite a while. As there we saw the 3:42 of Matthijs de Loo facing backwards, and that sadly was that for him. Difficult to get back into the race after that. Here was the battle for the last spot in the top 3 between Cameron Nelson, Tino Sidler and Devian Roest. Tino going through on the 3:61. Here was that finish. It was Tom Langlois who took it ahead of Ollie Wise and Cameron Nelson. Tino Sidler in P4 and Devian Roest in P5. Well, that was it then for all the qualifying heats here at the Carton Define International Raceway. We'll be back a little bit later on. We'll have a lunch break now, so all of you have a good little lunch. Get ready for the pre-finals and the finals later on today. And we'll see you back later on. Goodbye.